This was had an old Brinkman Stratton. It was a vertical shaft. Changed it to a horizontal shaft. And then the old pump seized up at one point. Put another, just a replacement, same GPM. I think it was like 11 or 13. I can't remember. Maybe it was 11. I don't remember. But put this Predator motor on here a few years back, and this thing's been so reliable. I think this splitter was purchased by my parents in probably around 2003, 2004, somewhere in there. And well, my dad, he had passed away a few years ago, and my mom, she doesn't need it, so it came in handy for us. We've been using it ever since we moved in here. Well, here, let's get some more footage of that. It's not the fastest, but it's very, very reliable. You don't need the fastest splitter in the world. They're cool though. Don't mind having a speed retard.
as I'd mentioned before, you know, I did replace the tire as well on that. Just so I need to do. All you need is that 22-ton Husky from Tractor Supply and a few kids to help. That's it. Yeah, they're like $1,300. I just bought a Crimson at Rural King for that. It's almost the same model. Who needs a $22,000 wood splitter?
So the thoughts on the wood splitters, if you're a homeowner, the Huskies and the Crimsons at Rural King or the Tractor Supplies for, you know, like around $1,300, that's more than sufficient. I imagine if you were doing firewood for production purposes and as a job, processing, then maybe one of the $20,000 ones would be worth it. One of the Wolf Ridges or the Split Fires or something like that. But
like a Yappa, even.
Yeah, even a Yappa. If you know you have a couple kids and a wood splitter, I mean, these $1,300 splitters, you can split a lot of wood in no time. It just takes a couple more people. But if you were just doing it by yourself and doing it for, you know, money, but then you got to weigh the option too, is how much firewood you have to sell to justify the price of one of the Wolf Ridges, Yappas, Eastimades, you know, where you're paying $10,000 to $20,000 for a wood splitter. I'm just not there. I don't sell it. I just burn it. And the Crimson that I have is good enough for me, and I'm sure Andy can attest that his Huskies more than sufficient for what his needs are.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Husky, it's done well for many, many years, other than, you know, engine swap, but that wasn't even all that bad. And I have a friend who helped with fabricating and getting, converting everything into a horizontal. And truthfully, I just go through a few Lovejoy's couplers every other year, and I just think it's altogether a better route to go, at least for me. I know it's a little more compact and so forth when you have the vertical shaft, but the horizontal shaft is just, I don't know, it's more of my thing. So that's just my take on it.
No, even at that, and even not converting, you buy a Predator engine from Hobo Freight, and they're a phenomenal engine.
They are.
You know, for just a few $100.
So while we're talking about the Hobo Freight Predators, there is one thing I did want to bring up, and in my line of work, I've used the Predators for quite some years now, and the newest Predators that dropped here, like back in 2025, I started to see a little bit of an issue with water intrusion in through the exhaust and whatnot. And one other thing is started noticing that they were vapor locking, and so I just pulled the vacuum line off the gas tank or whatever, pumped my oil wells, and then put the line back on to try to keep the water out, whatever. But that was the thing I just started noticing. But the water was the more serious issue with the new style Predators that I've seen. But other than that, couple short pulls, get the piston top dead center, and then boom, pull through one time, and usually it's just, they're purring like a kid. And I don't have a bad thing to say, and all the Honda parts are interchangeable.
Yeah, they're basically your knockoff Honda. It's like,
that's all they are.
It's like your G60 or 660 Pharmatech chainsaw compared to a still 660.
Yeah, clone.
Yeah, everything. Yeah. The pull cord to the carburetor to everything's the same. Do they run like a still, the Pharmatechs and the Neotechs? And no, I know people that have them, and I mean, they have their quirks and stuff, but also you can get a 660 size chainsaw, 92cc chainsaw for, $400 or $500 compared to, $2,000. So it's all in what you do. But That's pretty much that for this video. Don't forget to smash that like, share the video, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. And we appreciate your viewership. Have a good one.